squad, lanes 5 through 10 are TV pairs, 7 and 8 in particular, and it's on Bowl Stream TV channel on YouTube. Also, you can get updated scores for the youth and the adult division at bowljbt.com. The quickest service we've ever had for the scores. Hold up in your practice when you've got a full set in front of you. Folks, you've seen the scores on the first squad. This squad about the same size. Scorecards are coming up. Wish you all good luck and good scoring. Enjoy it.
And here we go. Welcome back if you're here this morning. If you're new to us this afternoon, thanks for joining. We got 7-8 here live from Rio Rancho, New Mexico, 10 pins and more. 14th annual New Mexico Open. And first squad is complete. Chris Kelso -17 and Rick Schaefer -17. They're the leaders after one squad. Yeah, -17. It's interesting out there. We've seen some very unique leaves on some spares and splits, and starting out the big four there, that's not the way you want to start. A little more experience in this squad. Nate Bohr, Jim Pratt. You'd expect to see someone get the plus, but you just never know. They're tough out there. There's some up and down games, 260s, but then 160s, and a lot of others. 194 competitors signed up to bowl here this week in the New Mexico Open. 10,500 for first place. Please take a minute to hit that share button on YouTube. And since this is a new channel for Bowl Stream TV, not using our live stream channel today, get this out there and help us promote this great event. Steve Mackey, Mike Miller, and Jeff Hema are putting on here in Rio Rancho, New Mexico. We're just north of Albuquerque. Maria Jose Rodriguez on this squad. I mentioned Nate Bohr. Who else do I see? I don't know, I can't see very far. Got the Youth Open going on. Looks like 7-8 entries down there for this squad. Harvey Johnson, top three. Chris Kelso, Rick Schaefer, William Ragsdale, -17, -17, -32. Brandon Knowles, -42. And Jason Silva, -48, the top five off of A squad. Do have a couple openings tomorrow. A couple late scratches apparently. 12:30 squad. 2 spots open. Last I heard. Call the bonus center 505-892-7117 with the money to guarantee your spot. Billy Grant, J.D. Nance also on the squad. A couple of guys that have some potential to put up a decent number. And kind of spread out pretty good, so we should have, something to watch here every game. Of course, we'll have something to watch. Nate Moore picks up the 210 off to our right. I do have a second one going, but no score. I'm waiting for a charger for my camera, along with the broken monitor thanks to Delta Airlines and the TSA, and also a charger that decided not to work. We only got one with score. Excuse me, there's the second one. There. I know I wasn't dreaming. Something exciting happens over there, we'll jump on over. Nicely done. Don't leave unless you're going to make it. That's what I was always taught. Nice washout conversion. So the chat's open. Who you watching? Who you rooting for? Where are you at? Let us know. Welcome to the YouTube channel for Bowlstream TV. We're live right here, right now, from New Mexico. Jim Pratt open, not a 5-bagger. See how he can manage to finish off the game. Just looking over J.D. Nance. He just dripped the 6 into the 3 into the 1 for a big X on the board. Thanks to Lomar Bowling Supply, Wayne Luco Dentistry, Shamrock Foods, Miller Lite, title sponsors here for this event. A lot of great local support to make this event happen. Hey, there's Waswell. Bowler Show in the house. Ronnie Vegeta fan is. Did I see him on the roster? I don't know. We got 194 names on these 7-8 sheets they gave me, so I haven't caught up with them all. We'll find them all eventually. quick pace, 3 on a pair. Just get it across. 10 pins and more. Jim Pratt on open 6-bagger, looking for 7 consecutive strikes in the 8th frame. High flush. Urethane. Spare 8-bagger for Pratt. He kind of figures something out. Is this the block that's going to blow away the field? Heck of a start. But you got to change pairs, and that's when it gets difficult. Little too high. Still a really solid ball game to kick things off. Spare gets him in the 250s. Ooh. Stone 8. 9. Excuse me. Right next to the 8. Between the 8 and the 10. You know what it is. In our A squad leader, Chris Kelton and Rick Schaefer, minus 17. So don't expect to see a lot of big games. That's what makes this 250 if Pratt converts his 6-pin. Uh-oh, that happens. You leak it right, it's going to go right. 2:45. Bookend opens in the middle of an A-bagger. 240s. You take that every game. Guarantee it. A lot of lefties on this squad. Like it's almost one in every pair. Nate Boyer really struggling here in game one. Just can't seem to get the ball to tip in the right spot. A lot of wide rights. Made one of the 3 splits. Another couple opens on top of that, and it's going to be a rough start. For number 10. Former champion here. 2013. Wrapping up game 1 of 8 here on the B squad. you come into game one, take a minute, hit that share button, little arrow at the bottom of your screen there. Kick it out there on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, or we're on YouTube, so Pinterest, all sorts of different things. Any social media you might have, and let's promote this event and let people see some interesting bowling here in New Mexico. Tough pattern. Squads full all day tomorrow. I'll have full today, both squads, A and B. Be full 3 squads tomorrow, starting bright and early. 7:30 local time. I'm tired already, just thinking about it. Guess I better get some sleep tonight. It's gonna be a long day tomorrow. Good stuff. Sammy Ventura would say. Good stuff. It's all right. You just keep it somewhere safe. Let's see. That's better. All right, you're not too cute. Steve and board. Continuing on here, game 2 of the 8-game block B squad, and scores plummeting quickly. Jim Pratt, 245. Maria Jose Rodriguez, 212. Gary Hadley, 211. Johnny Sickens, 210. Curtis Lee, 202. And David Castaneda, 198. Nathan Bohr, 156. That was interesting. He's still struggling. Just can't get the ball to tip. But he'll figure it out. He knows what he's doing. There's Maria off to the right. 3 in a row. Pratt's 245 game 1 is 130 in the 8th here in game number 2. As the switch pairs, and there it goes. How quickly it can change. Coming in game 2, and look at those scores just go south. 170 for Pratt after that big 240s game number 1. 164 Billy Grant. Maria Jose Rodriguez got a nice game going. 215 with a spare. They're to plus 27 early on. Might be our leader. But you see here on this pair, open, and a split here in the 10th. You just can't do that. Not when it's this low scoring. You got to make every spare possible. Game 3. Starting now. J.D. Nance, Maria Jose Rodriguez, and Curtis Lee here in game number 3 B Squad. The New Mexico Open 14th annual, $10,005 guaranteed first place prize, cash money. Oh, got a hook. Nope. Quick look over to Billy Grant. Low 10 pin. Chat's awful quiet. Who's out there watching? Who you rooting for? Come on. It's interactive. Use that chat. Be nice. Say something positive. Promote the sport. Promote the tournament. Hit the share button. Get this out there on social media and let people know we've got a full day of action all day tomorrow. 3 full squads with some very talented bowlers headed to Albuquerque, Rio Rancho, New Mexico here for the New Mexico Open. There we go. Waz rooting for Jesse Bauer. Hometown cheer. Nothing wrong with that. Vicious 10 pin for Curtis Lee. Just doesn't seem fair once in a while when you see those kind of shots. Got his hand good, projecting it good, and smashed 10. flush. Asking it to lay off a little bit, and it didn't, but still carried. They're going to looking for a double. Spare, strike in the fourth. Looking to double up here in the fifth. Left all the way. See if Curtis Lee can get rid of those 10 pins. Yeah, no 10 pin. Hello 7. And our squad leader so far is indeed Miss Maria Jose Rodriguez, plus 27. 15 over Jim Pratt, Rick Bernard 1 over, and even Steven Schemp. So only 4 players. Wow, still tough. And Maria's got a solid game going here. Curtis Lee, minus 13. And boy, if you get a break or two, finally a couple of strikes of that 10 pin, 10 pin, 7 pin. Tip. Ooh, throwing logs. Look at that. That'll bring a smile. Why not? It should. Zero plus, minus 17 lead A squad. So seeing what we're seeing, I got to believe even has an extremely good chance of making the top 32. Some big players, good squads coming tomorrow, but the way it looks right now, they're tough. We got 27 this squad. We had 23 first squad, I believe. And give us 50 total. Yep, 27, 23. How's that for easy math? Hook. She's got some room down lane. Very interesting to see that. None of the guys are managing that, but her soft hand is working right now. Jim Pratt started out great, 245, and then a 170 game 2, and it looks to be max 151 here in game number 3. So not so good after 1. And I know all squads tomorrow are pretty well packed. There's 2 openings on the 12:30 squad. That's it after a change today. So I believe that's 48 a squad. $186 for Curtis Lee, and that could have been 230s, 240s quite easily with a couple of breaks there.
This week, that is.
Going to continue that lead in the 230s. A double her plus here in game number 3, Maria Jose Rodriguez. Fantastic start here to the New Mexico Open. 14th annual. From 10 Pins and More here in Rio Rancho, Craig Elliott on Bullstream TV on our new YouTube channel. Stick with us, hit that share button. Get more people out here watching and talking with us in the chat. Get ready for game 4. And we got our 3 game totals in as we expected. Maria Jose Rodriguez plus 61. Next on the squad, even, Stephen Champ. Gary Headley minus 20, minus 27, Curtis Lee. Dennis Helmick minus 28. Johnny Sickens minus 31, 38, 40, 42, 42. All minuses your top 10, and JD Nance. So, whew. And Maria is going to shoot. Well, let's get over here and watch her 10th frame. She's 142 in the 8th, spare in the 9th. We had a front 8 off to the right. Ended with a 2-5. That was Maria's first shot there, just went a little high.
949, yeah. Questionable. Yeah. I mean, I rolled a few sleepers and I thought I did some like really good shots, you know.
All right, back here with game number 5 now in B Squad qualifying. New Mexico Open, 14th annual. We get those scores as we only had 2 players at even or better after 4. And we've got Stu Williams joining us now for a little bit here. How you doing, Stu?
Hi, Craig.
Welcome back. It's been, seems like only yesterday you were sitting next to me in the booth in Houston, a couple weeks ago.
I was so tempted to call you Jeff then, just to be mean.
That's okay. It's better than the other one. So here we are in New Mexico, always a fun event. 194 entries, I believe, is the number right now, with 2 openings tomorrow. 1 and 3 cash ratio, 10-5 on top. Always just a fantastic run event. Steve Mackey and the crew run a tight ship. And you're back trying to get the W. What are you seeing on this pattern besides it's tough?
Wow, it's kind of it's kind of messy, to say the least. It seems like the pair-to-pair is more of a problem than the lanes. So if you got like 5 minutes practice on every pair, it probably wouldn't be that bad. But you think you figure out the solution on like lane 9 and 10, and then you go to 7 and 8, and that solution's a completely different. Like there's a completely different question being asked. So the solution you've got isn't the right one. So that's more. I think the people who can get an idea of. I don't think today is going to, or this tournament in general is going to be a tournament where you're going to shoot. Anybody's going to shoot 215 every game. What this is about is on the pairs where you have a good look, is to shoot more than 225, and then on the pairs where you don't have anything, you shoot 175 or 180. You need to avoid, you have a good pair and you shoot 195, and then you have a bad pair and you shoot 140.
Yeah.
Then you're in a lot of trouble.
Home early.
Yeah. So it's really about taking advantage of the pairs where you think you have a good look.
Well, it's interesting to watch Maria come across. She started on 11 and 12, and Jim Pratt started on 5 and 6 with urethane. He goes open, 8-bagger open for 240. He's had a really good look.
Yeah.
Maria knew that. She was plus 61 coming in, catches Pratt's pair in game 4, and tried to jump in and stay inside of his urethane, and she shot 170. So she thought she made obviously a smart move, but just had nothing going on. That's what you're going to find, I think, as you mentioned, just pair to pair. It's just, but last game we saw 250s, 240s, 220s off to our right. It's not something we saw in the morning block.
Yeah, I also think that this pattern is, from what we saw in the sweepers, and depending on how close it is, who knows. But from what we saw in the sweepers, the more games that get bowled, the more playable the pattern gets, shall we say. Because I was going to say easier, but that's probably not really a fair comparison. So the scores in the sweepers tended to be a little bit on the higher side, later in the blocks. The guys could take advantage of it a little bit. But we shall see, I think. So I think the squads where there's more people are going to be better scoring.
Well, high game from the morning, 267 in game 2, and then he came back with 167 game 3.
Yeah.
Ends at minus 32. Nobody was
saying.
Plus this morning. Minus 17 was our leader after A squad.
So he had that one pair where he really bombed it, and it kind of covered up the fact. But he didn't shoot that like 130 game. Like he's 170, 160, 170.
Right.
It's not terrible. you're not giving too many pins back doing that.
So do you have a different mindset when you come in, knowing that 180s and 190s is a decent game?
Yeah, I think it's more about being patient than anything else. Like, don't get too frustrated, which is really easy to say and much harder to do, but you just got to, take the rough with the smooth a little bit and just try your best just to keep the ball in play and find somewhere where you can feel like you've got a decent shot if the lane wants to give you it, and just go with the flow. Try not to make too many drastic decisions, like moving like zones. Moving 5 and 6 boards at a time isn't going to help you on this, I don't think. I think making, pick your 4 or 5 balls that you like and just try and, keep the ball in play and go from there.
And make your spares. As we just see a chop 10 off a 6-10.
That wasn't a chop 10. That was just a flag. Come on. That's what Martin calls a lady chop, when you take the 10 pin back.
So are you just mentioned, are you heading over to the Lucky Larson here after this?
I am, yeah. My whole family is going to the Lucky Larson event. So my mum and dad are going from England. My godmother's going. She lives in Scotland. And then my wife, her mother, and Brady, we're all going on the plane on Monday afternoon. So me and Kyle, my trusty driver, are going to finish bowling here, hopefully quite late, and then drive the 6.5 hours back to Phoenix.
That's not too bad.
See, that talks from somebody who drives. I fly 100,000 miles a year. 6.5 hour drive's an absolute disaster. I hate driving. I really despise driving.
I haven't been driving this year, and I should have. I learned the hard way yesterday. I flew from San Antonio to Atlanta to Albuquerque.
Yeah.
12 hours.
Took a Delta flight, I guess.
Yeah. So I kind of goofed on that one. 11-hour drive or 12 hours of flying, I wasn't paying attention.
Well, I think I'd rather take 12 hours of flying than 11 hours of driving.
Yeah, that's true.
Somebody else is doing the work. But yeah, so we go from Phoenix up to Detroit. Then we've got the overnight flight to Amsterdam, and then we've got a couple of hours in Amsterdam, and then we mosey on over to Copenhagen. And then the tournament's in Malmo, which is just across the border. So Copenhagen's by far the biggest airport.
Yeah, so it's Denmark, right? But
yeah.
You're actually going to Sweden, but
yeah,
like going
but it's basically you just walk across the bridge almost. Yeah. So. But Martin's done Martin and the guys over there in Malmo, Daniel and the guys that Martin's been working with, it's kind of incredible for the first year the tournament's been in existence. They've got 450 players.
Yeah, that's crazy.
So they've had almost 2 full weeks of squads.
What would you say? It's a 24-lane house?
22 lanes, I'm told.
Lanes.
22 lanes. Desperado's going to be. That's going to be an interesting 3 or 4 hours for one game.
It's going to have to be a 1 ball. Yeah, start on lane 1 ball, and keep on going across the house.
No, it's
No,
No, but what I'm saying is for the guys at home, the Desperado is 1 game on 1 lane, but there's 22 lanes, and there could be 200 people want to play. So we might have a situation where there's 9 and 10 on a lane.
Wow.
So you're going to throw your shot, pick your ball up, take it, sit at the back, and then come back 15 minutes later to throw your next shot.
That's insane. Here's a quick update here. Maria Jose Rodriguez still leading at plus 36. Steven Champ plus 6. JD Nance shot 246, get to plus 4. And who's this gentleman here? He just had that 250 game. 252. Pat Bottom, but he's minus 81. Coming up on the right lane here, lane 8.
This squad is the house shot squad. There's 3 people over par.
Yeah, we had that earlier. It's not going to happen for long, though. Not at all.
Yeah, so after 4 games, there are 5 people who would have been over par after 4 games. Wow.
Have fun tomorrow.
Yeah, well, to be honest, when they're like this, most of the time I do have fun. So.
Well, as you're saying, be patient, and if you're going to be even, you got a darn good chance of making the cut and into the bracket.
Yeah, I felt like it was probably going to take 25 or 30 over, but maybe I was on the high side. I mean, last night I felt like being all over the place and moving all around. I still shot 854 in the sweeper for the 4 games. So, yeah, I'm fairly As I say, I think spare shooting is obviously the big deal, but it's also about having a controlled ball roll so you leave things that you can actually spare. There's no point in, you know, it doesn't matter how good a spare shooter you are. If you keep leaving the big four, you're probably not going to close frames.
Of course, our viewers can't see this, but I'll show you a picture I took earlier and tell me if you'd seen this before. So here's a right-hander, 2-7, 8-10, right?
Mm-hmm.
Not very common. Next pair over, lefty. The same lefty.
Yeah, that is pretty amazing. I don't think I've ever seen a lefty leave a 3-7-9, never mind a 3-7-9-10. Of course, I do joke, but the 3-7-9 seems to be left up a lot less than the 2-8-10. I think there's a conspiracy against those right-handers, Craig.
You know, there might be, but, well, we'll never know. So Craig Elliott here for Bowlstream TV, along with Stu Williams in Game 5 B Squad. And we've got 3 full squads tomorrow.
So 32 people are going to make it. There's 5 squads total.
Yeah, I think
What
it's
led the first
40,
squad?
Minus 17.
So minus 17 made it. Oh, have I just? No, I didn't unplug myself. I almost did everybody a favor and unplugged myself.
I don't think there's any squad leader buys. I think it's just 32 flat.
No,
so.
I was just trying to get an idea really of like where that was. Because the thing is I thought they were probably going to miss the cut. But depending on how this squad finishes out the last 4 games, I mean, if minus 17 is in the top 5, I mean, 12 a squad seems like a lot.
Yeah. Well, and that minus 17s with a 269 game number 4.
Yeah. Or should I say 10 a squad? It's going to be 10 every squad. I mean, that seems like a lot of people making it. So it will certainly be interesting. I think from what people have been telling me, I'm on the squad at 7:30 in the morning, which, I mean, 7:30 in the morning, that's pretty early.
It is.
But people are saying that seems to be the strongest squad.
There's a lot of the Southwest region area bowlers. There's going to be a lot of rev rate in that squad and a lot of potential strikes. But again, it's, you know, how you break them down together.
Well, if it's the Southwest region, no doubt there'll be a lot of urethane as well. Those guys tend to want to use a lot more rev rate than they do touch. So the Lavery Spa brothers, Simonson, Joe Finlan, all those guys are pretty high rev rate guys.
Yep. Yeah, Joey Hafner's bowling in the morning. He's got just a handful. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see how that plays out and how they're spread out across the house and pair to pair.
Kyle King's on that squad also. He's another guy who likes to use urethane. Shot 800 at the Bowlers Journal with urethane this year.
Yeah, you know, I've seen people be successful with urethane, but I'm not sold on it. I don't know.
In what regard?
Well, we had a guy come across here earlier throwing plastic, and yeah, sure, you can hit the pocket, but you have to be so perfect, and you're losing your carry percentage. I mean, right? You're not going to carry
with urethane, like lane to lane. When the lane to lane's really bad, urethane's really good for that because it allows you to. It doesn't because it hooks so much earlier. So what urethane has allowed a lot of guys to do is people who couldn't necessarily control their ball out the back part of the pattern on some conditions, they use urethane to control it. So that's kind of where it's really good for those guys.
Yeah, I get it. It's just, I don't know, it seems like a lot of the younger guys now just default to urethane just to be able to wail on it more and not learn any touch. And
well, yeah, but it's also the way that the guys who have got the lane machines are conditioning the lanes. I mean, like the way they condition the lanes is very conducive to using urethanes on flat patterns.
Right.
I mean, I don't disagree with all you're saying. I don't agree with all you're saying. I mean, it's just the way they create the patterns leads to urethane looking good on the flatter patterns. Just there's so much oil in the front part of the lane so the ball doesn't burn up. And then, you know, the more people who use urethane, the better it looks because it carries it down more and it makes it worse for the reactive ball. So it's like, it's almost self-fulfilling. Like,
yeah, once you have guys start using it, then it forces a lot of people to get there, and then things just get ugly at times. That's what we've seen in some of the tour stops is They just get.
But then I guess
goofy.
last week I didn't really watch, but I guess last week when Dick Allen won, there was a lot of guys using urethane in the finals. Like the scores were pretty good in the finals.
Yeah, they weren't bad, but then Dick just moved right with his trusty resin ball and made a lot of really, really good shots.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, great example of Stepler there. When the guys missed with urethane, it was, washout split. It would, they had to throw it so perfect to get there. Whereas a few other players, you could create just a little bit of area and maybe carry that 2-pin or weak 10. But hey, is what it is.
Well, I think I'm going to track down my roommate, and we're going to head back to the hotel for a little bit.
All right.
Because we're going to bowl the Pro-Am.
Good luck with that. Good luck tomorrow. We'll see you bright and early in the morning.
All right. Thanks, Craig. See you later.
Thanks, Stu. Well, the wisdom from Stu Williams. Going to continue on here with game number 5, B Squad. coming in game number 5 here in B squad. We're starting to see the scores bump up a little bit, and we've got our tournament host director making his first of many cameos this weekend. Welcome, Steve Mackey.
Hi, Craig.
It's always a pleasure to be back here, and I appreciate you having us come back here for the 14th annual event.
Well, your quality of coverage has certainly improved. It was good when you first started a couple of years ago. Now HD and everything else. We've got bigger scoring screens here, as you can see. We put them in during the last league season. 43-inch screens now instead of 25-inch old ones, so that's making it a little easier. The scores are up a little. Maria in a bit of trouble here. She struck on lane 4 then. She's in the 10th frame now. She'll probably shoot $160 or $170.
That's back-to-back 170s.
Yeah, that'll
still plus 36, and more than likely she's got a good chance to still hang on that lead. But
yeah,
got to hang on now and grind it out and try to get a few pins back in the last couple of games.
Well, coming up on lane 7, we've got Josh DeMick. This is his first tournament as an adult bowler. He was a prolific follower of the Junior Bowlers Tour around the Southwest region here, bowled in the main event in Las Vegas, a few other things. He did win a Sport Shot League here, a 15-week season to get a paid entry into this tournament, and averaged 201 in the Sport League. So he had a rough start today, but his last couple of games have been pretty good. This one could end up in the 220s.
Well, if anybody's really wondering how difficult this pattern is playing right now, Nathan Bohr, who is probably one of the best shot makers in the area, I don't think there's much debate in that. He just shot 157, and he is minus a bunch.
Well, he's going to shoot
minus 33, and he's minus, another 43 there, so minus 66. Not out of it with the cut going to be. Even looks like he's got a good chance of making it, but he's got to figure something out really quick. So
our bowler on lane 8 had 252 in the last game. He's going to shoot another good score here. That'll get him to where?
He was minus 81 after that 250 pat bottom.
He was minus 81 after the 252.
Next one gets him in the 230s.
And that'll move him up considerably. He's got a pretty good shot here, and he's giving a little bit of loft, which seems to be the way to go. That was a great shot. If it seems like, Craig, if folks lay it short here, the ball is going to go wherever it feels like going. And you've got very little control over it, but if you can give it a little bit of air, like that one there, for example, that's about the right amount of loft just before the dots.
We've seen a lot on these right side spares, even on the left side spares. If you leak it right at all, that ball just leaks in the gutter.
Leader over there just left a ringing 10, ended up with 235. He's the new leader, Champ.
Oh, okay.
He's at 41
Plus
over
41.
now for 5.
Very nice.
That's a big number. And not only that, pretty rare, 4 200s back to back. That's knocking them out pretty good. .225 after 252. That's the stuff dreams are made of on this condition.
Going to jump to minus 56.
Billy Grant finishing up this game here. Oh, a chop in the 10th. That's about the third time I've seen him open the 10th, but a 211 game. What does that give Billy now? That's not good when you turn that page,
No,
Craig.
minus 116 coming in.
So he's minus 105.
Got a lot of work to do.
First 2 games hurt him, but the last 3 haven't been too bad. But like I said, opened 3 10th frames out of those 5 games.
And just like that, we're into game number 6 here, this 8-game B squad qualifying block.
Got a pro-am tonight. We've got some great bowlers in it. Stu Williams is one of the pros tonight. Kyle King, Connor Pickford, Team Fish just signed up as the last pro I needed.
Jake Butcher, former champion. Is he bowling tonight?
Who?
Jake Butcher, former champ here.
Jake is bowling, and in fact, this is his first tournament back since he injured his finger. It cost him a shot at his first Team USA representation overseas. He was very disappointed with that, but he's got a good attitude to life.
Yeah, good kid and very talented on the lanes.
Yeah.
And this was, go back a couple of years, this was kind of his breakout win as he won here, and then he went on to dominate the region with, 9 wins that year in the PBA region. Then he won in Lubbock for his first PBA title, and it all started right here in Rio Rancho.
Well, Anthony Simonson is in the field tomorrow, and of course he's the USBC Masters winner recently. And Anthony showed up here a few years ago, and I think he was 17 years old, and I said, do you need a scholarship waiver?
Nope.
He said, well, let me think about it. And he went away for a few minutes. He came back. He said, no, I'm going to make this my first adult tournament.
Oh.
And so this tournament broke him out as well. Interesting. We're pretty happy with the turnout here, 193 or 194 entries, assuming they'll get here tomorrow. And 3 years ago there was nothing on in America. This was the only tournament on this particular weekend in the whole country. And now there's 5 other events competing with this one on this weekend. Why the other tournament folks are doing that, you'd have to ask them. But we've ended up with a heck of a big field as usual. And we're going to pay out probably at the moment, it looks like it'll be about 55,000 or more.
Very nice.
None of the others are doing that, I can tell you.
I think the reason you're getting entries here is it's a 1-in-3 ratio, which is always solid. The entry fee is only $240, right? So that's nothing out of control, and you're still going to you're bowling for what, 10-5 to win on a $240 entry. So 20 times your entry fee, is that right? Is that the right math? No, more than that.
Your math stinks.
Yeah,
it's 50
more than
times.
That. Yeah, right.
45 times.
Oh, it's early. I'm still sleeping, so. They wait for that Mountain Dew to kick in. It's been a long week.
Yeah, where did you come in from?
San Antonio.
That's a long hike from here.
So Monday, left Virginia to Michigan. Tuesday, I went Michigan to San Antonio. Thursday, San Antonio to here.
All driving?
No, flying. Yeah.
Might have been quicker driving the way the airports are these days.
Well, I realize now it would have been because I went San Antonio, Atlanta, Albuquerque. So,
oh, boy.
But,
that's like going Sydney, Moscow, Melbourne.
Yeah, a little bit out of the way. But it's been a good week. We're San Antonio residents now, so I'm a Southwest area bowler. And looking forward to learning more about this area and the competition around here. Left my snow shovels in Michigan. Hope I don't need them. If I need them down here, then I'm moving farther south.
San Antonio needs some ice shovels, and that's about it. They get a little snow, maybe. I've been there in a couple of hellacious storms, but ice is the problem down there in San Antonio in the middle of winter. Hard to drive. They get some pretty big rainstorms there too, so
I've heard that.
Make sure you're away from those drains when that comes on. Maria's still having a little trouble down there. She's going high. I asked her earlier, I said, pretty tough shot here. She said, yes, I've seen the scores in the sweepers, and she said it'll be just like bowling out on the women's tour this year. They had 4 or 5 tournaments at the start that were pretty tough.
They had some very, very tough patterns for those ladies, but you know what? It makes them all sharper, without question. That's how you become a better bowler, is bowling on the harder stuff.
Yeah, it made her sharp earlier on today.
And with this being an 8-game qualifier, it's a mental game as well. You can't just keep going on throwing the ball in the same spot. You're going to make ball changes, line changes, hand changes, speed, a little bit of everything, the way the pattern's playing out in the format of the event. So your better bowlers are going to find their way to the top.
Well, we just saw a spare on lane 10, and you'll see him in the last game. Stephen Champ, he is our tournament leader. Let's have a look at the scores. We're looking at the scores at bowljbt.com. They'll be updated after every game all weekend.
Still the through 4, so they should get their we'll have the game 5s here in just a few minutes. As we got the youth event going on as well, down on the high end of the house.
Dennis Helmick on the screen now, right in front of us. He's a successful high school coach in these area. Cleveland
coach?
High School. They won the they won the state tournament.
Nice.
Beat us and El Dorado in the bracket play last year. They've won it a few times. Lost their head coach though. Jimmy Tillery moved up to Colorado, and he's working in a school district up there, southern part of the state. Well, on this TV pair now, 7 and 8, we've got 2 from Rio Rancho. Andy Byer coming up now. He's on a double. Or he's hoping to get a double, I should say. And Dennis Helmick on a double. And we've got Val Wise out of Southern California. 12 states represented this year.
So I was wondering if you knew that total.
Yeah. Andy catches the break. And there's a uncharacteristic wild shot from Champ on lane 9. Pulled it left. He was real quick on that one. Quick feet, quick arm, and moment you get out of sync on a pattern like this, you're going to be in a lot of trouble.
Well, from what we're seeing back here, it looks like kind of how you mentioned, if you miss a little bit and think you got to make a big move, well, you don't. You just need to make a better shot.
Oh, nice turkey for Dennis Helmick. He's the one of the mainstays in our draft league here at 10 Pins and More, and local bowlers, if you're interested in a strong league on a different sport pattern 3 times during the season. Every 12 weeks they change the shot. That'll be the one to join. It starts the Monday after Labor Day, the 11th, and you can sign up here at the bowling centre with Mike Miller or Dennis Helmick.
So Pat Bottoms out of Kirtland, New Mexico. Still has a kind of like your observation there, that little bit of loft. He's got open and a double there now in game number 6. Putting on a little bit of a run here. Seems to be pretty comfortable. Maybe that's the secret, is to get the ball out past the heads a little bit, maybe.
Yes.
Past that little puddle in the front 5-6 feet. And
yeah. Kirtland is up in the northwest corner. It's about maybe a 4 or 5 hour drive from here. I think he bowls up at Bolero Lanes in Farmington. Well, there goes Boer's ball on lane 4, and boy did he need that break. That gives him a turkey. And that might be the first turkey he's seen since Thanksgiving last year.
I guarantee you, he hasn't seen one
shot,
today.
That's for sure.
Yeah,
he's
hasn't
been
seen one all today.
Really having a hard time. Good spare for Andy Byer. Plenty of pin action on lane 3. That was Dennis Brown out of Colorado. Used to be a New Mexico person. He moved up there a few years ago. He made the top 5 here a couple of times early on in our 14 years. Still a great bowler. Well, Champ in a little trouble there now. Missed the head pin left a moment ago, then he's left the rail on lane 10. Helmick now looking for 4 in a row.
So that's what we just said. I don't think he missed by much there, right? So that's when you think, well, I got to make him move. He missed by 5 boards at the pocket, but I don't think it was that bad of a shot. Just a little
No.
Just throw a little bit better next time. Nice soft hand, and you'll be dead flush. But that's the kind of shot that tricks you. If you make an adjustment off that, then you go through the face, then you move again, then you miss right again. Now it's the middle of the game, and you got nothing. So you can't make it. You can't panic off a shot like that.
Right.
And that's
very
usually
good
what happens.
comment. Yep, that's right. And it's easy to panic and not easy to not panic. Wow, that was a tough break there. Well, Boer's got a 4-bagger over there. We'll keep an eye on that game. He'll be moving down to lane 5 and 6 for game 8.
Yeah, we'll get Nate on camera for the last 2 games. So I'd watch these next couple shots for Helmick and see what kind of move. He's got a 3-bagger, and then just that shot there. See if he understands that it wasn't a terrible shot. Get over here to bottoms again real quick. Crossing over. Ooh. About a range on 6. No, I grabbed it.
Through the beak.
See, so he moved and went through the face, just as we kind of suspected. Is your normal adjustment, and probably should have just stayed right where he was. But bowlers are human, and that's what your brain tells you. Well, I missed rights, then I gotta tighten things up, and
yeah. Yeah, in the sport of bowling, a brain is a horrible thing to waste.
A lot of times it's the worst ball in the bag.
Yeah. Yeah, leave it in the trunk. Oh, good try. Well, Boer is up on lane 4. He's got a 4-bagger. Let's have a look at this. There he goes. Oh, nice. Nice shot.
He's definitely patient, grinding it out till the shot comes to him and getting the pins when he can. This could be his big game to try to get back in this tournament, but needs a couple more of them. Of course, Nate shot 300 last year, and the sweeper picked up a little extra bonus.
1,250, yeah. Nice. From John Wilson of Target Line Bowling. John's put up $1,000 this year for a 300-game pot. If no one bowls it, I imagine it'll jackpot the next year. But if more than one do it, firstly, that would be an absolute miracle. That'd be like seeing the eclipse on Sunday on Monday without glasses on.
So here's our scores now. Champ at plus 42. When you say you're struggling here this game a little bit.
Yeah, he's looking for a double now. He's coming up on lane 10. That'll be the next ball you see go down on this lane over here. 10, let's see what happens.
Ring 10. JD Nance plus 2. Maria Jose Rodriguez minus 2. Rick Bernard minus 12. Gary Hadley minus 35 is your top 5 on this squad. Pat Bottom jumped up to minus 56. 7th on the squad. Nate Boers 157. He gets to minus 76. So if Nate can go 230, 230, 230,
yeah,
he's just fine, and he definitely is capable of doing that. And he's coming to a couple pair of lanes that we're seeing are conducive for scoring if you can take advantage of it.
Sport shots have certain traits. The one this year is that 3-6 and combinations. In fact, we saw that last year too. I remember on the TV pair, it drove us nuts for a while there. The moment they were a little off.
That was at the 3-6-10 last year, and then nobody could make it either.
And nobody made it, yeah. Gary Hadley's in a bit of trouble now.
Let's take a look at the 7-10. He throws it hard. Got a shot of bouncing some pins here somewhere.
I don't think Pat can throw it real hard. Let's see how quick it gets down there.
Yeah, I was thinking about that. We were in Mooresville, North Carolina, PBA 50 stop. And on our feature pairs, we had the 2, 4, 8, 10 made 5 out of 6 times.
Wow.
All right. The 3, 6, 10, 0 for 6.
Oh.
And I was thinking about the last year here when that, we were kind of seeing that same thing.
Yeah, quite a different.
But on those flat patterns, man, they're tough. 3, 6, 10, 3, 6, 9, 10 is, 3, 6, 9, 10 is a split on tour with those flatter patterns. So Hemlick, see, he went light, made the adjustment, went high, made the adjustment, went light again. So he panicked. Can't do that. Just gave 3 frames. We start with a triple, and then look at the next 3 frames.
Yeah.
That's a killer.
Well, Boers is now 152 in the 7th. He just left the Greek church. And Champ found something there. That's Pat down there with the glasses, right?
Yep.
He's doing his best impression of Pete Weber.
He is, yeah, and he's striking.
Well, I mean the glasses.
Yeah, no, and he's striking like Pete too. So, yeah, but that what was it 252, then 2. Where did he go? 252, 225 back to back. After a very rough start, and he's climbing his way back into contention here.
Yeah. Needs a bit of help here, though. He's got a strike in the 7th. He's 102 in the 6th.
But still pacing 180s, and those are the kind of those need to be the low games. High 170s, low to mid 180s. If that's your low game on your block, then you're going to have a pretty solid day. You got to get rid of those 140, 150 games, and there's a bunch of them out there.
Yeah.
It's a big shot for Helmick if he's getting any chance of salvaging a game here.
These are cubic or AMF lanes. We installed them August of 2014. We have a lot of 300s here on the house shot. 800s, we have quite a few each month. But this is not your house shot. Well, Champ's come back, a double. 83 in the 5th and a double. So the tournament leader trying to remain so. And Rodriguez on a small 200 pace, 145 in the 7th, strike in the 8th. Looks like she's found something down on 1 and 2. She'll be moving down to lane 15 and 16 for a last game.
Good look at Nate Moore again, far left of your screen on lane 4. After the open in the 7th, or 152 on that Greek church.
Good comeback.
A little more speed on that one.
Yeah, good comeback after a split.
Yeah, I'll go back to Pat Bottom.
Bottom, good loft.
Left all the way.
Got a break.
Late, yeah. It was quite the ball change. It had the green quantum on 7 and 8 and went to the pearlized fire quantum on 5 and 6.
I've told this story before, but when people pretty much bought 1 or 2 bowling balls into tournaments in Australia in the early 80s, one guy asked me to help him in out of the car with all these bowling balls, and I thought he'd driven 5 people up there in his van, And I said, wow, where's all the help here? It's only you and me. He said, oh, they're all mine. I said, it's an 8-game set. What, you're bringing 16 balls in? Are you crazy? What, do you run a pro shop or something? You're out of storage space? And anyway, he bowled every one of them in the 8 games, missed the cut by 100 pins or something, and I was writing a column in the Sydney Morning Herald at the time, and my headline was case of too many balls and not enough marbles. In fact, we had a reunion tournament there April of last year in Sydney. Anna and I went down for it, and he showed up, and I reminded him of that, and he thanked me for the story. He said people still remind him of it.
I bet they would. That's
33 years later or
heck
something.
of a headline.
Yeah. Well, he goes, Pat. No, that's not going to make it. Oh, Maria down the gutter over there.
Wow. That's shocking because she was not playing outside at all. That's just
Not much given that
footwork
grey board. You hit that, it's
not a whole lot.
gone.
I actually saw 300 in pot games out of the gutter one time, and of course, pot games, everything counts. Ball bounced out at 30 feet, went dead flush. You don't see that very often. Shows you how tough this pattern is. You miss a little bit right, the ball just leaks, and it doesn't come back.
Or a double. Looking for 242. What'll that give him?
A minus 76.
No, that'd be a big help.
Yeah, that'll be huge. Maria with the spare.
Well, tell you the truth, the gutter ball spare is probably easier than some of the things they've had to bowl at today.
That's for sure.
You know, sport patterns have got all sorts of names. Beijing, Sydney, Mexico City. What do you think this one's called? Sodom or Gomorrah?
I think you're setting me up for one here.
Which one?
I just like looking back at Mike when he looks at scores with that grin on his face.
Yeah.
That's
yeah, evil.
He enjoys.
An
Yeah,
evil
it
grin.
is. Yeah. He enjoys putting these out. But you know, I still think it's fair. I mean, look around. There's strikes. There's strings. But like we said, you got to be patient, and you can't panic. And I think that's that's Nathan Bohr, this squad. You look at some of his games. 170, 160, 150, and a couple 2-0s, and now he's going to pop off potentially 240s because he knows you can't panic, and it's when it comes to you, get your pins and make the cut because it doesn't matter first or 32nd, right?
Doesn't matter.
So just get in that top 32.
Yep, 32's it. It doesn't make one iota of difference.
We go back to last
Boy,
year again. Some of the matches were fantastic, so it doesn't matter if you're the number 1 seed or 32 seed. When you get in that head-to-head 2-game total pins, just beat the guy. With the exception of Butcher a couple years ago, he just kind of lapped the field. He was just in his own tournament. But there are going to be some tough matches this weekend, come Sunday, and it should be a lot of fun to watch. Let's get over here and see Nathan's 10th frame off to your left.
Well, Stephen Champ has retained the lead here, that's for sure. He's had a pretty shaky start in this game. 83 in the 5th, and he's got a 4-bagger, so he's probably going to shoot small 200 again.
Nathan moved in and got a little fast with that one and left the 2-8. Still spare. He's high 2 teens, possible 220. Going to give himself an opportunity to get to back to even or so. Former champion here at this event. He knows what it takes to win here. 2013.
Ooh. Bell Wise. Hold 8-pin. Maria, first one in the 10th down there, 185 in the 9th. Strike working, so
She'll get back to plus.
Get
Minus
back
2
to
coming
plus. Yeah, she'll be a couple of pins over. Nathan made his spare. 220 if he strikes. And Champ is coming up on lane 9. We'll see the side view of him, and he'll be on our TV pair. He is the tournament leader for this squad and overall. Fast.
Left.
Big guy.
Yeah, I think if Nate misses by a few pins, that first shot in the 10th this game is going to be the one that he remembers because that was his opportunity to really get some pins back in this event and just didn't make a quality shot. And he knows it.
And now everyone listening to you knows it too.
That's our job.
Hey, don't forget he lives at Austin and you're just down the street, so.
Don't tell him. He doesn't know yet.
No, he doesn't. Okay. My lips are sealed. Oh boy.
Can't do that.
That was a rush of blood to the head and cost him 12 sticks there. 200 though. Didn't look like shooting 200 early on, so I guess that's okay.
Those were the comments that Stu made a little bit ago when he was here. Is you just can't do that.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a chance to get 2 teens and make up pins on the whole field, and you're just giving away free pins there.
Yeah.
Still 200, but it's
Well, Andy Beyer, junior bowler here, and he's in our draft league on Monday nights. Also bowls two-handed occasionally, but he's decided that less ball is more on this particular sport shot, usually on most sport shots actually. And he's gone to a regular hand in the ball. We had a bowler back in the 60s in Sydney, and he made Andy's crooked arm there.
Chicken wing. It's kind of what we call it up north.
Yeah, made his chicken wing look like it was a straight leg.
Turkey leg.
We used to call him the arm. Couldn't bowl for nuts. Had a 1/5. Frank Duffy, who was the size of a jockey. In fact, he was a jockey in his younger days. Couldn't bowl for nuts, but what a coach. He could pick a problem, and in those days it was all timing. It wasn't anything to do with balls or shoes or anything. No one had anything. You stuck a Band-Aid on your thumb if it was bleeding. And Duffy could coach, that's for sure. But his arm swing stunk.
Into game 7 now, this 8-game block, and we're going to have some jockey in there. Looks like Shamp's got still a chance to hang on that lead. We don't know what J.D. Nance had that game. He's on the high end of the house.
He didn't shoot 200.
Oh, okay. Well, then more than likely Shamp's still our leader. Maria's going to make up a few pins. Get back to plus. Nate Boers trying to hunt down the top of that leaderboard. And here's Shamp coming into game number 7.
Tall, strong young man.
Shoulders, strong shoulders.
Yeah.
So, Steve, you've been around this game for a long, long time. We look at somebody like Shamp, and he's almost, your prototypical kid now. Kid or bowler. Do you think? I mean, I guess I say, do you think that the bowlers are more athletic now? These young kids coming up, as a whole. I mean, the kids in their 20s to 25, 6.
Yeah, I think, and college bowling's got a lot to do with that. They train them not just how to bowl and how to think and all that, but how to eat, how to work out, how to stretch, how to not get injured. And it's a different game. I mean, back in the 60s, I was a teenager, and, as soon as you could drink, you started drinking, and it wasn't the same. There was no coaching. No one knew anything in Australia because the game was brand new. It just started there in October of 1960, so no one knew diddly squat about anything. I bowled a backup ball, pretty good backup ball too, for the first couple of years, and an American visited the bowling centre one day. He saw me down there practicing after I'd polished and cleaned 100 pins in a toxic-filled room of clear lacquer.
Yep.
And he said, what do you want to do, kid? I said, I'd like to be the Australian champion. He said, well, you're not going to do it with a backup ball, I guarantee you. He said, here, this is how you throw a hook. And he got my hand around the front here. And in those days, a figure 8 was a pretty good, delivery. Mm-hmm. Second arrow. And that was what changed me into a kind of a hook bowler. Well, let's see what happens here. He certainly had the speed to maybe carry that. Well, Nathan's opened poorly. Designer washouts, a lot of them this year too.
Yeah, we've seen quite a few of the 5-count washouts. Yeah. So do we have a 2-time champ this year in New Mexico? Do we have another another unknown use this as a stepping stone for moving up to even bigger tournaments like we saw with Jake Buttriff? Eric Hatchett's back to defend his title.
Hasn't bowled much. He's been, oh, look at that. Eric spoke to me on the phone the other day, and he said that he hadn't been bowling as much as he would have liked over the summer. Doing a lot of study, but he's happy to be here and happy to have a chance to defend. But it's a very good field. I mean, it's 193 people. Last year we had 217, I think. But the quality here is really good.
Yeah, Lonnie Wallachek, a former champ, is back. John Young, 2-time champ, the first 2 events. He bowled the first squad. Are we going to see Andrew Kane? Did I see him on the roster?
Chris Clerk's here. David Haynes is coming over. Chris Clerk's coming back. Nidifer apologised. He signed up early and then ended up being in a points race in one of the PBA regionals and had to go to that. Francois Lavoie would have been here too, but he's got a very big coaching and exhibition clinic in Canada this weekend.
Yeah, I think there's a big trade show in Canada this coming up this week, and a lot of stuff happening up there. So
yeah,
they just
there's,
had
one
some
of the
big wins in the
women
some
bowlers
overseas.
are with him as well.
Yeah.
Well, that's a tough start for the leader. 15 in the second.
Ouch.
Gary Hadley coming up now on lane 7. One of our senior bowlers. He bowls league here twice a week, and he lives in Santa Fe. That's 120 miles round trip twice a week to bowl league here. We're very
in this
grateful.
traffic, that's about a 3-hour trip each way. 60
Yeah.
miles. Minus 35 after 4. Front starts
Yeah.
with a double.
He had 160 in that game a moment ago, but he's pretty capable. Won a couple of scratch match play tournaments here. That's a turkey. He's bowled the senior US Open, the senior US BC Masters. He's bowled a few senior tournaments, but owns a few gas stations up in Santa Fe. And gas is high price up there. The minimum wage up in Santa Fe is about $10.94 an hour or something or other.
Really?
Yeah, that's why there's no bowling centres in town. It's hard to make the numbers work when you've got to pay part-time staff, you know, about $3.50 an hour more than here in Rio Rancho.
You might want to move to Santa Fe, get a job.
Yeah, good luck keeping it. That's a pretty tough economy up there.
Well, what I'm watching now with the way Maria's throwing the ball, that shot from Hadley, what we saw from Helmick, I'm going to give you a name.
Give me a name
Will
above
be
all
in
names.
the top 10. Pete Thomas will be in the top 10 after qualifying.
He's never been here, and I'm really looking forward to meeting him. And he's been a terrific bowler, and now a terrific senior bowler. He's a prolific winner on the SASPA Tour, the Senior All-Star Bowling Association in the Texas, Oklahoma, Louisiana area. And he's our only one from Oklahoma this year. Jack couldn't make it. Kevin Mitchell, a few others couldn't make it. So he doesn't do a whole lot with the ball. Very accurate.
Right, and that's why I think he's going to do quite well on this. And another guy that he's got some potential on this type of pattern, the way he's been throwing the ball, is a former U.S. Open winner, Robert Lawrence. I wouldn't be surprised to see
Robert's
him
just
have a
arrived
pretty
here
good,
today.
pretty
Yeah,
good
he's
game
out
ball.
of Austin. He's a rep for KR Strikeforce, one of our tournament sponsors here at this event.
That's one of the things that makes this event so special is all the sponsors you get involved to get some of that added money and really provide the bowlers, you know, a solid prize from top to bottom. And it's because of all those sponsors, and we see them across the center here. We talked about them quite a bit, you know, of course, you know, Miller Lite, Turbo, you know, Wayne Luco, Shamrock Foods, Lomar Bowling. Those guys have been around, you know, every year I've been here.
Yes, Shamrock Foods has come on deck with us, and they're actually our biggest cash contributor this year. Lomar Bowling Supply has always been a good supporter of ours. Now, we've got some bowling companies involved, but a lot of these folks are people that we do business with. And they scratch my back and I scratch theirs with purchases all year long.
There's nothing wrong with that. And, the bowling industry gets tapped. So if you don't have to go to the people in the industry, for donations, you can get other people. That's what makes it, such a solid event. Yeah, Trey Sledge is asking if he can sleep in the center, so he makes sure to make it Sunday morning.
That was terrific bad luck for him last year. His battery conked out on him on the way to the bowling center, and he got here about 3 or 4 minutes late. And, that happens every year. Trey shouldn't feel bad about it. One year we had 3 people not show up, and that was out of the top 48. But we've had at least one every year not make it in here in time to check in on the Sunday morning.
I like the rule, though. Everybody knows it.
Yeah, check-in time this year will be 8 o'clock, and I'm encouraging everyone to wander in the door at 7:45. Cup of coffee in hand and bright-eyed and bushy-tailed. Well, Pat Bottom had a turkey over there and left a washout on lane 3. But he's come up a little bit. He's had a pretty good last few games. 250 and a 220 included in them.
Yeah, let's take a quick peek and see we got that 6-game scoring update on.
Not quite yet.
Not quite. JuniorBowlerStewart.com is where we've got the standings for the youth event and the main event here in the New Mexico Open. 14th annual. Here at 10 Pins and More in Rio Rancho.
Well, it's 54 years when we started this. I certainly didn't think I'd be still running it at 68, I can tell you. But it's good. Gives us a good reputation here in town and in the state. Helps us pick up a lot of entries for other events. In fact, we're widely regarded even by other proprietors as the tournament house in New Mexico. We had a all-time record entry in the state tournament here in May, the best entries they've had for years and years. We've got the women's state tournament here in March next year. We've got the Pepsi Youth State Championships in January. We've got the Elk State Tournament in the last week of February. And we've just picked up the Rick Smith Tournament and the City Senior Championships later in the year. So people like running tournaments here because they know we'll push it hard amongst our 7 to 750 league bowlers. If you are watching now and you're in the Pro-Am tonight at 7 o'clock, check-in starts at about 5:45. Please don't wander in at 5 to 7. And we've just filled it. Thank you. I just got handed a sheet, and that was the last spot open in the Pro-Am.
Very nice.
Got a field of 84 tonight, plus the 12 pros, so it'll be 24 teams of 4 across the house.
I tell you, that's what in my travels at successful events, when you see big Pro-Ams, you always see big events. We had last week in Virginia, they had over 300 Pro-Am entries.
How many?
Over 300.
Wow.
And what we've seen the last few weeks, the Lucy event down in Houston has, a couple sold-out squads. We had an event the first year in Wilmington on an X-Frame stop earlier this year that had sold-out Pro-Ams. And that's, as proprietors and tournament directors, to be able to share these events, these big events with players that aren't used to being around it, that's huge because you never know someone that's going to learn something from that event, a Pro-Am, bowls with the pros, and it encourages them to get better as well.
Yes, in fact, that's one of the reasons we run this event right before the start up of the fall leagues. This generates quite a lot of interest, and we get a lot of new sign-ups for leagues. Like I said a moment ago, we're hoping to get 720 to 750 league bowlers in the fall leagues. We had close to 500 in summer.
Wow.
And that's a pretty big number in these parts.
Yeah, those are numbers that are foreign to me, being from Michigan. In the summertime, it's pulling teeth to get anybody in the bowling center. We got 3 months of, good weather. Bowling is not where people want to be up north.
Yeah.
And it's tough, really tough.
Well, let's have a look at Ball here. He's right in front of us on lane 6. He had a false start there. He was able to stop and start. Now that's the concentration of an experienced bowler. A little bit of loft. Ooh. Well, he's in reasonable shape though. 56 in the third.
That's a very difficult 3.69. Ooh, just enough of that tempo.
Maria over here, I'm just going to give you her score. Obviously, we can't see her all the way down on lane 16, but she's got no opens, no doubles, 78 in the fourth. And our tournament leader in a bit of trouble here in front of us, 63 in the fifth, but he struck then with some power.
6-9. Tough to get that back pin out of there. And
not happy.
No. It's a momentum killer.
There's a break. That was not a runaway Brooklyn. That was a runaway New Jersey. That was a long way.
Hoboken.
Yeah, Hoboken. That's the place.
Speaking of Hoboken, I saw a photo this morning with Chuck Gardner and a PBA Hall of Famer that was back in the bowling center, Mark Roth, yesterday up in Hoboken.
Yeah, I saw that on Facebook.
I like to see that. Good to see Mark up and at him again. He's had a rough year of surgeries and health, and he's upright and moving as of yesterday.
Well, here's the numbers.
J.D. Nance, 226. He's at plus 28, but Champ, our leader, still at plus 42 with that 200. Maria, plus 3. So 3 players on this squad at plus. Rick Bernard, minus 40. Val Wise, minus 52. Nate Bohr, minus 59. Pat Bottom, minus 68. And it goes down from there.
And way down from there. Nance has a double, and he's got a small 200 going on lane 16. He's crossing this game with Maria.
And he's definitely a momentum bowler. When he starts striking, he strikes, but when he's not striking, he seems to struggle a little bit.
He's made a few cuts here over the years, and of course he's got a lot of
powerful ball.
Yeah, very powerful. Very good junior bowler tour event winner as well before he became an adult bowler, and had a lot of wins in our scratch match play series too. Most of anyone actually.
That ball's got to hurry. A little fast for Hadley and pays the price for that big 210.
Yeah. So much for the runaway Brooklyn. If you get a runaway Brooklyn or one of those lucky strikes, you really need to capitalize on it. And on this type of lane condition, it's not easy to put it in the hole the next shot. Nance a Brooklyn for a turkey down there. Lucky him.
Well, he threw a ball on lane 4 or 5. He hit the 2-4 pretty much in the face and toppled the 6-3-1 forward for a 3-bag earlier. So Brooklyn's not quite as bad as one we saw a couple hours ago. Nate
Oh,
Bohr,
what a
big
quality shot that was. Goodness. That's money in the bank, that shot. That was beautiful.
Yes, he's putting himself where he's going to have to shoot 250s that last game, and there's only been, what, 2 of them so far? 269 and 252. I think that's it for the whole tournament.
Well, Pat Bottom's going to shoot another 230 odd here. He's got a pair of turkeys on lane 3. Just left a Brooklyn 5 pin. But what'll that give him? Get him to 30 some odd under. Not
He's going to
bad.
need another 230s.
Yeah.
Boy, 148, 161, 158 start. If you'd ask him right now if he thought he had a chance of even sniffing the cut, he'd say you're crazy. But he does.
Maria just got a double. That's putting her in the small 200. So she's battling on.
Starting to get some people showing up here watching the event live. Imagine some of the pro-am bowlers coming in and a lot of other fans just trickling in. It's a nice day here in Albuquerque, as it pretty much always is. Is there ever not a nice day here in town?
Not many.
I mean, is it always like 85 and sunny?
Well, it gets a little chilly in winter. But, you know, high altitude and low humidity, it doesn't feel as cold as some places. We probably get 1 or 2 days of snow. That's about it. And typically it melts off by about 10 in the morning. So if it snows overnight, 11 o'clock, the roads are clear. I think the city owns 2 snow plows.
Never uses
whether
them.
they need them or not. You get a bit of snow in Santa Fe, but again, that's even higher than here. That's 7,000 feet above sea level. We're in Rio Rancho here. We're right at about 5,300 feet above sea level. We're on a plateau here at the bowling center.
Well, the views driving around town are spectacular.
Well, here's Bohr on lane 5. Oh, quality.
That was a
Quality
That was a bowling
experience.
shot right there.
Yeah, and an ex-champion right there. Ooh, Champ needed that double. He can go off the sheet for 193. That'll be a very good effort for him here. 3 opens out of the first 5. Get a 190 out of that. Okay.
Boy, don't take this the wrong way, but if Champ could make a spare, he'd just be lapping the field. I mean, you know, we've seen the last couple games missing some easy spares, and he's still plus 42, but he could be. I bet you he could easily be 100 over right now if he made just some of those simple makeables. There was a ton of ball, but it seems like all or nothing.
Ooh, Maria ripped the
Four-bagger.
rack. Turkey, she's in the 2 teens. Here goes Bottom on lane 4. Pat Bottom out the window in the 10th frame, but he's in the 220s regardless. Nathan Boers asked for a re-rack. That's usually a nerve settler.
Is there a tournament rule on that for qualifying?
Yeah, you can have a couple. Our racks here are usually pretty good. It's Brunswick A2s. You don't need a re-rack more than once every month.
Those are the machines I grew up bowling on, working on when I was working in centers years ago, those A2s. When you keep them clean, those things run forever.
Yes, these pin setters here are out of Japan. They were used in Japan probably when the places were doing 70, 80 lines of bed in the 60s, and then they sat in storage for a while. And then 23 of these pin setters here are from Japan, and 1 was made in America. 23 of them have Japanese writing on the serial number and all that.
No kidding.
Like most of the centers built in the 80s, they used used equipment.
232 for Pat Bottom. Wow.
Combination of used pin setters and new wood lanes back in the 80s. In fact, our bowling center is 35 years old next year.
So that gets Pat to minus 36 with a game to go.
Wow.
Maria threw the beak down there in the 10th, but she's looking at a 216 if she can spare and strike. terrific effort by Nathan Bohr here. She spared the 10th. It'll be a 216 if she strikes, so that'll give her 19 over. That's a heck of a score.
You know, we're talking if you don't get those 150 games, you know, keep 180s your low games. Nathan Bohr would be even right now.
171 for the leader. That gives him 13 over, so she'll be actually ahead of him right now if she keeps the ball on the lane. She's done that, and she's going to get probably a strike. She's a little out of sight. 216, so she is the tournament leader unless Nance beat her. I can't see Nance's score.
Oh, we've had a chance to watch a couple players the last few games here on camera make their way back in it. Pat Bottom, Nate Bohr give themselves a chance with 220s, 230s this last game to potentially at least get to even and have a chance. Brandy Silva in the chat. Good afternoon, Brandy. She says hello to you and Dana.
Yes, Brandy, no excuses are acceptable, but thanks for
better be here next year.
Apologising for not being here. Oh boy, what a great effort here. Well, one game to go, and we've got a good tussle going between J.D. Nance, Stephen Champ, and Maria Jose Rodriguez, former Queen's champion. Got a terrific game. The women on the tour are the top 20 women. Wow.
She picked up a win this year too, I believe, didn't she? On the ladies tour, I don't follow it real close, but I thought she picked up a win early on in the season.
Well, let's see if Bohr can finish this up.
Brandy would know. Brandy follows the ladies tour. Did Maria win one this year? I know she's made a couple of shows at least. Here's Nathan.
Wow. That's a wow. That is fantastic.
How much did that 369 miss hurt?
Oh.
And then, you know.
Well, I'll tell you what, he might not have got a six-bagger if he'd made it. You know what I mean?
Sure. That makes you tighten things up and make quality shots. Nate's in the 230s. 234 would get him to minus 25 with a game to go. So a lot less pressure. You're not having to shoot that 250 game. You know, even just 220s, 230s to get back to even and plus is huge. Players finishing up Game 7. We'll have the 8th and final game of B Squad qualifying right here from 10 Pins and More New Mexico Open, the 14th annual, on Bowlstream TV here on the YouTube channel. Hit that share button, the arrow at the bottom of your screen, and get this out there. So an 8 count, 232. 231.
No, it's
no,
yeah,
it's
232.
only game 7.
Yeah.
Yeah, 232, only game 7. So 232 would be 27, minus 27 with a game to go for Nate Bohr. And if you can get to even, you're in pretty good shape. He sees it, he'll fix it. And we're into game 8 here. Let's get this fixed so everybody's paying attention, knowing where we're at. Game 8 of 8 B Squad, final one, and then we're going to be live again tomorrow morning, bright and early, 7:30 local time. Yeah, do you believe? I guess I should find out for sure because, yeah, got to be here. It's kind of important. Squad times, here we go, officially on 7:30 a.m. Squad 3 qualifying, 12:30, and then Squad 5 at 6 p.m. 3 8-game qualifying blocks. Star-studded fields coming up tomorrow here in New Mexico. Well, we're seeing some pretty good displays of bowling here from some of the players trying to figure out a way to grind out that cut. Tough conditions out here. Mental and physical grind. We'll get those 7-game scoring updates, but there's a chance. It looks like we might have a couple players finish plus after this qualifying. Minus 17 led after A squad. We're in B squad here, 8th and final game with only a couple players ahead of even par. Jim Pratt started 245 game number 1 and just hasn't been able to figure anything out since then. Minus 79 after 6. Maria started front 4, then just opened the 5th. Oh, that's killer for Nathan. He's in sheet mode now. JD Nance rips 7-pin. He's pacing 180s, 190s. Going to have 2 squads in the books here shortly for the New Mexico Open, and 3 squads tomorrow starting 7:30 local time, 8:30 Central, 9:30 Eastern, 6:30 Pacific. If you're overseas, well, I don't know, I can't figure that part out. But archive will be there too on the Bullstream TV YouTube channel. Check it out. Tell your friends, tell your neighbors, tell everybody. First day using the YouTube channel for Bullstream TV, and see how it goes. Got a great upload signal here. Going on high def here in Rio Rancho. And here's our 7-game update. JD Nance now our leader, plus 32. Maria, plus 18. Stephen Champ, plus 13. And that's it. Nate Bohr, 4th on the squad, minus 27. Pat Bottom making a run, minus 36. It's about plus 80 or so his last 4. Rick Bernard, minus 48. Jim Pratt, minus 78. .234 max score for Nathan Bohr. He's minus 27. Time to start striking. Get to even somehow. So we only have 4 players, combined squads. as of 7 games at even or better. And our leaders after A squad, minus 17. JD Nanso on 1 and 2 with a powerful strike. 114 in the 7th. Payson 2-0 if he can stay clean. Looks like he's going to stay plus. Maria is also going to stay plus. We'll have a couple people above par. Stephen Champ on a 4-bagger. And all 3 players, completely different styles. Powerful righty. Great PWBA player, right-hander, and then JD Nance, powerful lefty. They're all figuring out different ways to make it happen. Nathan needs this one. Looks good off his hand. He likes it. Ah, right through the break point. Definitely confused by that when you see his reaction. Like, what the heck? I thought I threw that beautiful. Might be a little fast. They should be updated now. I just had the Game 7 given to me, so I don't know. Let me take a look online as well. Maybe just refresh the page. Does that help? I will go let Jeff know. Maybe there's a little glitch in the system there. The online standings should be updating as we speak. JD Nance going to max at 184. Ooh. Strike. Spare would be 174. Still stay plus though. .224 max for Bohr. That'd be minus 20 or minus 3. And, that Greek Church last game, and then that. First ball on 10th in game number 6. Brutal. Well, looks like Nance will be 174. Minus 26, be plus 6 for the event, which is going to be just fine. Maria Rodriguez facing 220s this game. Looks like she might just be our leader. Unless Stephen Champ starts striking, let's jump over there. 4-bagger open. got a handful of that one. We did just off that last shot that went a bit light and grabbed it. 3-7-6. He's still pacing the 220s. Get her to possible plus 40. High 30s or 40. It'll be her, Steven Champ as our tournament leaders. After 2 full squads, 50 competitors, first 2 squads. And we've got 140 plus. 48 a squad tomorrow. A lot of bowling yet to come. Top 32 will make it to the match play on Sunday. Champ coming up on the left side of your screen, lane 6. Quick with that one, yanked it through the downswing and wide right. Maria spares and then 10, so 218 max if she strikes. And plus 18, they go to double their plus to plus 36. And I think Nathan's got some choice words for lane 8. That lane's just got him this game. Needed good shots. Threw some good shots on lane, but just got 0 as far as any type of help or breaks. I think that shot in the 6 was just beautiful. Peered it and got 7. That's a frustrating game. We need 220s and issue 160s. So 217 for Maria plus 35. Let's go ahead to JD Nance. Steven Champ would need 223. And he's now pacing 209. final couple shots here. B squad qualifying. 14th annual New Mexico Open here at 10 Pins and More in Rio Rancho, New Mexico. Craig Ellie for Bowl Stream TV live on the YouTube channel. Make sure you share this with all your friends overnight. And we're going to kick things off again bright and early, 7:30 local time with C squad qualifying. Star-studded squad, a lot of the best bowlers from the Southwest region, PBA guys, top amateurs taking the lanes here north of Albuquerque for their chance on C squad as Nate Borer finishes up. Good solid game from this young man. Quick possible 261 with an open in the middle. Nice way to finish. And Phil Ball always strikes, not that time. So Maria Jose Rodriguez will be our tournament leader. Stephen Champ can't catch her. After 2 squads here in New Mexico. Nice bowling, Maria. 175, 162 in games 4 and 5, but all 200 games around it. Pretty consistent, pretty solid. Kind of the exact type of line that Stu Williams talked about earlier. Don't need huge games, just don't have horrible games where your 2 teens, 220s can make up for those 170s or so. And indeed they have. So thanks for tuning in and joining us here. We appreciate it. Don't forget tomorrow, wake up with more bowling here from New Mexico and join us here on the broadcast. Have a great evening. Thanks for watching.
Jim, would you mind initialing mine? She haven't had anybody the whole time. Oh. Thanks.